Who was the worst student in your high school, and what did they do that was so bad? Who was the worst student in your high school, and what did they do that was so bad?
Not me, but my daughter and her female friends in ninth grade. There was a boy who was disturbed who was making threats to the girls in his classes. Things like he was going to strangle them, rape them, knife them, all sorts of things. The girls told me he had photos of dead animals he'd killed, like kittens or a dog. I don't remember the specifics. Anyway, for whatever reason, my daughter felt like telling me about it for the first time, well into the school year, like in November or so. I had no idea this was going on until then. I called the teacher first, who was a man, and he was afraid of this kid. Teacher said to call the principal and gave me his number. Principal said, and I quote, "Lady, I have 1,200 students to deal with on a daily basis. I can't be worried about whether your daughter is safe at school." Which was the wrong thing to say, BC. It obviously pissed me off. He said that he put this kid and my daughter alone in a room and told them to essentially kiss and make up. Called the superintendent next, who was incredibly bowled over by the incompetence of the principal. He told me to call the police. Which was too late because I had already taken my daughter and 3 of her friends to the police to make reports and file for a restraining order. The next day the principal called to apologize, from the phone in the superintendent's office. The kid was removed from the classes with all of these girls, which was next to impossible. And less than a week was removed from the school. I think my daughter said that he's in prison now.
The real person who need to be removed is that incompetent principal. Holy tits.
Please tell me the principal for fired BC. OMG.
Out of a cannon, I hope.
So, why is that principal still employed?
He said that he put this kid and my daughter alone in a room and told them to essentially kiss and make up. What? No, just no. How could that principal be so dumb? Let the kid that threatens all the girls alone with a girl. Did he expect that the boy would behave? The principal was a moron.
Hey there, if you see a red subscribe button under this video, please BOOP it.
Yes, he was a moron. I think the guidance counselor IIRC also had a hand in the just put them together in a room idea. The superintendent was awesome though, and I could tell that there was some serious ass chewing that went on the next morning.
School administrators are chicken shit losers who didn't make the cut for B school, law school, or med school.
Also, why the hell is it that seemingly way too many principals are former PE teachers? That one always bothered me. Like, the leader of the group that is responsible for educating children, it's the least qualified and educated? It's never made sense. My son is special needs, and usually a couple times a year, I have to go down to the school and give someone, usually an administrator, an ass chewing for blatantly ignoring the 504 or IEP, or allowing my son to be bullied. It's gotten to the point that I ask them what their credentials are, where they went to college, majors, work experience. I make it uncomfortable for them. A disturbingly high number of them usually answer, physical education. I then get to ask them if they would like me to draw a picture of what I'm saying in crayon, so maybe they understand.
I'm glad the superintendent did something. I had a student in my class who enjoyed talking about how he abused and killed animals. I complained to admin about him and was told there was nothing they could do. The kid later brought a knife to school, was caught, and was expelled. I made sure to write up an official statement that went to his expulsion hearing.
This quite mousy kid who was an incel before incel was a word sent in bomb threats to the school saying that there was a big bang coming. Turned out he was making fertilizer bombs at home in the family barn. The kid had a plan for where and when each homemade explosive would be set off, which was actually kind of weird since his plan was to light one here, then run over there to light another. He was tried as an adult. I'm not sure what happened to him, but the story around town is that he committed suicide while incarcerated.
Guy was caught a couple times drinking in the bathroom. His dad dragged him out and beat the shit out of him in front of the school. Felt kinda bad after that. After we graduated, he had killed a guy who was helping him get clean from heroin? I assume. He stole the guy's credit card and went to Walmart to buy an Xbox or something. Messed up thing was, a friend and I saw him at that Walmart afterwards and played Guitar Hero with him and his buddy. They were acting really weird. Said they got some money and were gonna buy Guitar Hero.
Principal asked a classmate of mine to fill her water bottle. Guy peed in the water purifier's water tank and then filled the bottle. Got suspended for 2 weeks.
Molested a toddler, which in turn got his dad's head caved in with a trolley pole.
I think you should smash the like button.
Okay, this needs more explanation.
He molested a 2-year-old and his parents pulled him out of school once it came to light. A family member of the child turned up to his house and the dad refused to give up his location, which led to him getting beaten to death with a trolley pole.
We had a guy who was an absolute shitbag and addicted to cough syrup. He tried to bully me, but my brother literally beat the fuck of him when the guy bragged about it to him, not knowing he was my bro. The guy was only there half the time. Constant, he got into fights and tried to start shit with everyone. The teachers just gave up on him after multiple attempts to reach out. His parents actively defended him too. The big thing that got him almost ran out of town was he got this freshman girl, when he was like 20, addicted to cough syrup and meth, and then got her pregnant. After a couple of months, when he was tired of her not doing drugs with him, he pushed her down the stairs and kicked her stomach. The cops busted him and took him to jail, where he got his ass beat over and over again by some of the frequent flyers while the guards looked away. Last I heard, he had only got about 5 years and he was let out, but nothing beyond that. I'm a big proponent of prison reform and forgiveness, so I hope he got some help, but also lives in shame of what he did.
Guy lived opposite to my house and we used to play together as children. He was not really a bully, just a troublemaker. Started smoking at like 12. He would come to school only every other day. Later he started doing more criminal stuff, burglary, car theft, etc. The school once took us to the local police station as an excursion, and in one of the cells, his name was carved on the wall. Last I heard, he became a shepherd and is tending to his herd of goats. His older brothers were not very different. One was violent, had a kid at 17 and would beat up his GF and get in lots of fights in general. Also burglary, car theft, vandalism, etc. He was always in and out of jail, and as far as I know is currently in jail for stabbing someone. He was the only one I was afraid of. I once mistook him for his younger brother during recess and jumped on his back as a joke. Then he turned around and I promptly shit my pants. He laughed it off, thankfully. The oldest brother was a weed dealer, but he was a pretty chill guy. He was the only one you could have a conversation with without feeling nervous. I haven't heard of him. Hope he is doing okay. Needless to say, they were getting visited by the police almost every week.
Last I heard, he became a shepherd and is tending to his herd of goats. Well, that was unexpected.
A girl in my home EC class cut a significant amount of the teacher's hair with scissors.
We were 15 and the kid, who was always next to me in homeroom, alphabetical by last name, suddenly stopped coming to school. He was often caught huffing fumes and passing out in the school bathrooms, so we all figured he dropped out. He had been arrested for raping his 3-year-old brother. We found out later the boy was his son. He admitted everything and he was swiftly locked away.
In high school, a fight over who knows what. One kid pushed the other down the last few steps of the staircase by his head and pushed his head into the wall. Kid got a severe concussion and a broken arm from the fall down the rest of the stairs. The drywall had to get replaced because the kid's head put a hole in the wall. One of the common gang initiations for the area was raping a teacher in the classroom. The 2 guys that did it are serving 20-plus year sentences for other crimes. In middle school there was a girl that pierced her own clitoral hood and had to sit on a hemorrhoid pillow for 3 months when it got infected. She wasn't necessarily a bad kid, but even long out of middle school this story shocks me.